We're in Jersey City, and we're getting ready to get on the PATH train. We're gonna head into the Large Apple. Everybody knows what we're talking about, and that's just across the river. How you doing?
Very good.
So who are you, and what are you doing out here?
My name is Daby Carreras. I'm going to be the next New York City Comptroller.
Okay, Comptroller. All right. And
I literally will end mandates. In fact, it should be called dictate. I think people would understand instead of mandate if it was called dictate. But yes, we had 10,000 people here to set this story correct about what this is. It's not about anti-vax. It's pro-freedom. And a lot of people in the media try to say that we're all anti-vaxxers. It's not anti-vaxxers, it's pro-freedom. And that's what this message is about. That's why we had 10,000 of our city workers come out here for supporting our freedom. That's why we have big American flags and telling everybody what's going on.
You know, it's very interesting because I was just here in New York a week ago, and we did a special, and we went around asking people about the vaccine mandates. We were just around here doing that, and it seems that people like the concept of freedom. They like their freedom, and they respect people, especially disabilities and religion, but then they go, it's a unique situation. It's a unique situation. It's a pandemic. It's abnormal, and they're falling on safety. They say we're going to curb our rights, individual choice, because of safety. What do you say to that?
Well, I'll say they're right that it's a unique situation. The problem is they may not be aware about how unique it is. For instance, this is not a regular vaccination. In fact, this is actually just an inoculation. They changed the definition of vaccination. Vaccination is now attenuating symptoms, which means it just shortens your symptoms. It does not prevent transmission. It does not give you immunity. That's what we all have learned for many, many years, and now the definition has changed. So this is emergency authorized use, and that is what is so upsetting, because now, without having any kind of understanding about the long-term effects, people are being taught that if you don't take this, that's the only way you could stop this pandemic. This pandemic has been over for a long period of time. It's a lot less. The time that we started putting the masks on is the time that we actually had a situation where we had a brevity of the entire fallout of people dying. So the mask was just a placeholder for the jab, and the jab is a placeholder for digital ID, and that's exactly what's happening around the rest of the world.
You bring up the digital ID, and you know, I think there's a lot of truth in what you said, where it starts out. You got to remember, this pandemic is, at least in America, is about 2 years old, and it starts out with, death. Everyone's going to die. You're probably going to die. Then it says you may not die. You may get really sick. The mask might work. It might not. You might have 2 masks. It just seems like as time goes by, we're learning more and more about it. So now, you bring up.
You're so right. Because the way this came about was when President Trump did something really remarkable in his administration. He gave us the right to try. In fact, we would have learned more about it if Nancy Pelosi didn't rip up.
Right to try. So I know what right to try is. Let's break it down short. What is right to try? It's a very significant point you just made.
Yeah. So right to try is a legislation that President Trump brought in. So people were dying before they got to try life-saving techniques.
Pre-pandemic,
and now this entire administration has tried the right to try to force to do, which is against anyone's will. You should not be forced to do something through your businesses, especially if it's experimental. Remember, it's emergency authorized use. It means there's a liability shield. No one is getting the FDA-approved drug in their arm at all. The FDA-approved drug is unlabeled in Europe. It's not being put in people's arms. Which is disgusting.
Yeah, I find it interesting because you said the right to choose, and I'm gonna jump in there and also say you have the American with Disabilities Act, and you have the Privacy Act 1974. These were, of all legislation in America, something that almost everybody got behind. Everybody likes. Nobody's anti-Privacy Act. No one's anti-American with Disabilities Act, and in fact, there's been a lot of support when President Trump did push the Right to Try Act, right? So it just is like, I wonder, is it like we're throwing away or not regarding legislation that everybody actually agreed on?
You're 100%. The only other thing I want to add to it is the Nuremberg 1947. The entire thing about coercion to take medical stuff, and that's what's happening. We're actually being coerced to take these different things that you don't necessarily need. I mean, for instance, we have natural immunity. So taking this jab is actually slowing down and attenuating your immune system. And that really is what's defining a person to be a human, their immune system. So when you slow down or reduce a person's immune system, because now you're not going to have generic antibodies, your antibodies are fighting against this entire, S antigen, all these different things, all the way to be healthy. What's happening? We're depreciating of our immune system, and we're becoming less safe. In fact, people are shedding the virus because of that. It's crazy that now we're forcing children to now get a shot. How is it possible when we were told and we learned that they are the most people who have immunity? They're the most strongest people, most resilient against this. And now we're subjecting them to lose their immunity by doing these shots, these techniques. What happened to therapies? What happened to monoclonal antibodies? What happened to liposomic agents? What happened to hydrochloroquine? What happened to all these, ivermectin? What happened to all these different things? Did doctors forget about it? What happened to going to the gym? What happened to exercise?
Why do you think we're here? Why do you think we're here? And I'm asking you why we have this question, right? You're a smart guy, and we wonder, how did we get to this point? What is the motive? What's the grander motive of this? If everything you're saying is true, and everybody is either gonna live or everyone that's gonna die has already died, and herd immunity there's value there, right? That's a natural thing.
Control. You're right. You're getting to it. It's about control. It's about absolute control. When government tells you what you can do and you can't tell government what to do, then you're no longer a citizen. Now you're a slave. And that's exactly what this is. That's what my mention about the mask was. The mask, again, it was just a placeholder for the jab, and the jab is a placeholder for digital ID. And the digital ID is because of control. They want to control the elected leaders. When I say government, I see the elected leaders, the progressive, globalist elected leaders. The apparatus of government is okay. We got to remove these people from the apparatus of government, and we need to put people who actually care about respect for life, respect for the Constitution, more personal responsibility, and less government. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so let us know, because let the viewers know.
More rallies.
Yeah, what is this rally about?
So there's Jimmy Levy and a couple other people. There's a very famous singer. Oh, actually, no, he's on behind them. But they're just upset. They're rallying in New York. They're just upset in New York. And they're telling everybody what's going on.
Okay, so let's tell the viewers before I jump on that. Your platform, your handles, and all that.
So Daby Carreras, I'll be the next New York City Comptroller. I'm the only person who can actually stop the mandates, because the mandates are infringing on businesses, and the Comptroller runs the businesses of the entire city. Every single contract, every single dime, every single dollar. Daby Carreras, vote Daby, D-A-B-Y, votedaby.com. New York City Comptroller. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
We're going to win.
All right.
The best is yet to come.
Okay. So that's it, right? Unique day. We came out here to cover Biden. There were no crowds, so we went to New York City. There's always protests there. There's always events there. You can't come here without talking about these vaccine mandates. You can't. But if you like what you see, and especially if you don't, like, share, and subscribe. The Truth with Mark Naughton. Instagram, Facebook, The Truth with Mark Naughton. And Twitter, that's me direct, at Mark Naughton 9. And special thanks to Peter Parkour. That's parkour, like jumping around and such. He's helping out with the filming this week. So definitely give him a look and a follow. And marketing, Mobley Marketing 19. You should give him a follow. He's doing incredible stuff. Golden Art, that's Nicholas Catucci. All right, videographer and producer. So that's it, guys. We're going to do a lot more, but don't be a bump on the log and not hitting those buttons, okay? I hate to ask. I hate to talk about it, but that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So the only chance the show has is if you do that. Simple click. Thanks. Have a good one.